I think I got that right from Paris Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, this album, smoking, smoking, man, it kicks ass. I mean, it's like it's definitely one of a top 10 album for the year for me for sure. I love this album. I've been listening to it nonstop
Cool.
since it dropped. So yeah, killer stuff. Yeah, very cool. Sorry, I kind of just went off and jumped right in there. So
I like it.
but yeah, great stuff. It's really cool. So, yeah, let's talk about the new album for sure. So as I mentioned, it's the fifth studio. I believe it's the fifth studio album from the band,
Yep.
which is hard to believe since you guys have been around for so long. But well
Yeah.
worth the. I think each album. There's been some time between a few of them, and
Mhm.
but it's always worth the wait with you guys. So, I mean, you always put out solid music. So, and this album is, you know, uh, for me, just personally, like, the first album is kind of the pinnacle for me for Babylon AD, but this album is like right there. I mean, and I've loved all your work, but this album, like, I think you guys really topped yourselves for sure. Um,
That's good. Yeah. I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, really cool stuff. So yeah, so tell me about kind of the writing process and like what made you guys decide to do this album at the, like I said, it's been a little while. I think it was 2017 was the last studio album.
Mhm.
So kind of what prompted the move to work on this album?
Well, I think it was a combination of a few things. After the last album was released, we played a few dates and had a good time for about a year or so, and then COVID hit, and we were writing some songs. We had already started demoing songs for a new album, and we
Oh,
thought that'd be probably put out in 2020. That was our thinking. Like, we probably had about 7 or 8 songs written and demoed. Um, and then COVID hit, of course, and basically kind of put everything on the back burner. And
yeah.
especially here in California, Gavin Newsom basically shut everything down. So that was kind of a bummer, and everybody just kind of drifted off. I did a couple albums. I did a soul album and a blues album, and kept the things with Babylon A.D going in my mind. But everybody was just doing their own thing. And then last year, uh, Tom Mathers from Paris Records got a hold of me and asked me if we had anything that we wanted to put out, and I told him that we'd been working on a record, but we kind of just put it on the back burner and we started doing our own stuff. Uh, but he said, well, maybe, we could do something with that album. And I said, well, I do have some live tracks that I never really even listened to from our shows. I said, I'll put them up on my recorder and see what I had three different shows that we recorded. So I told him, I said, let me listen to that, and maybe we could put that out, and that could be a stepping stone for a new album.
Cool.
And so that's what we did. I listened to all the live tracks, and I kind of did a little bit of remixing and things like that, and sonically enhanced them a little bit and sent them off to mastering. And Tom put that out last year. It's called Live Lightning.
Mm,
It has some of our best work on there.
definitely.
And then at the same time we were working on this album, new material. We had the old material already demoed, but we started working on new material, and I started writing new songs because now my head was just into Babylon AD instead of doing Derek Davis. It was into Babylon AD. So we wrote a bunch of songs, and we demoed everything, and I think we came up with about maybe 17, 18 songs altogether. And we this was after the live album was released. We were in the studio. We just kind of use that, like I said, as a stepping stone to let people kind of know that we're back,
Right.
that we're still alive, that we're around. And, kind of most of the interviews I'd tell people, hey, we're going to put out a new album, look for that. So out of those tracks, we let maybe 4 or 5 people listen to all the songs. And I kind of did a rating system with everybody on a 1 to 10 scale. I gave them all the songs, with different people that aren't that associated with the band, that knows the band, but aren't in the band, or
Right.
just people that we trust. In other words, people that over the years you just trust their ears. They'll tell you if a song sucks or not. You know, so we kind of did a rating system, man, and we gave it out to 5 people, and when we got the ratings all back after about a month, we knew what songs were good out of the 18.
Yeah.
I might have thought, well, oh, this song is great. But if 3 out of the 5 thought, oh, this song's a 4, then it's like, what do I know? You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't know shit. So we put what we thought was you know, the best the combination of the best songs that everybody seemed to gravitate to, and were like, you know, anything down from a 8 down was like, no, you know, we're not going to put that out.
Okay.
So we got lucky, and we had 11 songs to choose from. There was a few other ones though that will be on the next album that were also really good songs and could have been an 8, but it came down to where you can only put so many songs on an album, you know.
Yeah.
So
I was just about to ask you if any of those, you know, that were on the cutting floor, if they're going to appear or be reworked, or
actually, cool. I think only about 3 of them were like, this is a no-go. You know what I mean? And the rest are really, really, really good songs, man. They could have ended up on this album, but we had to somehow choose what it was going to be. And in our minds, we said, you know, we're going to make another album anyways. So if this is a great song, we know we got another great song for the next album already. You know, it's already there. We don't got the right one, you know?
Nice.
So that's where we're at with that. That's how we picked the songs for the album.
Nice. Very cool. So as far as this album, and maybe this is true of all your albums, I'm not sure, but kind of what's the writing process for you guys? Does it start with a riff? Does it start with a lyric, you know, or just a melody? Kind of, you know, who kind of starts the ball rolling? And maybe that's different every song. I don't know, but
well, so John Matthews and Ron Fresky, guitar players, they write quite a few riffs, and they send me songs that maybe have 2 parts to them, you know. Not full songs, but like a really cool riff, like say Wrecking Machine, the first track of the album. John had written that song maybe about 5 years ago, but he with Leonard Hayes, Y&T, when Leonard was still around.
Oh, wow.
And he gave me the demo, and he said, hey, check this out. I think this is a really cool song. And it was just music, you know, but it was like, wow, I think I could do something. Right off the bat, I knew I could do something with it, you know, write lyrics and melodies over it. So that's how that song came about. Other songs come about, like Ron will have a riff, like I said, maybe 2 parts, and he'll send me with, you know, with a little drum machine in the background, doing whatever it may be. Right. And then I'll basically build the song up from that, you know, if I like the riff. He might send me 7 to 10 ideas per album, and maybe for me personally, maybe I'm only gravitated to 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Because I also have to like the song too, the music too. Yeah. I just can't write lyrics over music that I don't like, you know. And then the other songs I write, you know. I think I wrote 4 on this album. But what's good about this band is that now that Dylan, the drummer, and Craig, the bass player, are in the band, they also write.
Nice.
So they had one song on this album that was co-written with me called Shut Up. So yeah, so I think that the next album, Dylan's already gave me a couple other tracks already for the next album, like demos of tracks that are just the music. Cool. I'm like, wow, I could do something with this right now, man. You know? So what's good about the band is there's no lack of ideas and energy of creativity, because I'm writing, John's writing riffs, Ron's writing riffs, and Craig and Dylan are writing riffs. So you're going to come up with maybe 20 ideas, and you know you're going to get, you know, 7 to 10 really, really super good ones.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. Yeah, I love it. You guys are just firing on all pistons right now. It's great. I love it. You know, the fact that, you know, you're kind of re-energized. I mean, not that you weren't, but I mean, you know, it sounds like you guys are really on fire right now, which is great.
I think it made a big difference with Dylan, the new drummer. He's 23 years old. He's so excited. You know, he grew up on Babylon A.D. since he was like 5 years old. And now here he is. He's in Babylon A.D. He still pinches himself every day. You know, his parents were big fans of ours. So he grew up.
That's great.
Listen to it. He said, I could play Hammer Swings Down when I was 7 years old, Derek. I said, and so, you know, the funny thing was, when we auditioned him, me and John, the guitar player, Ron had already played with them, you know, jammed with them. And he said, dude, this is a guy. I'm telling you, this kid plays drums phenomenal, right? Nice. So when we auditioned him, me and John looked at him after about 5 songs, and we just kind of smiled and shook our heads like, yeah, this is the dude, man. I mean, he played, we did 5 songs that were all Babylon A.D., Hammer Swings Down, Bang of the Bells, Kid Goes Wild, Desperate, and something else. And he just nailed them. Perfect.
Cool.
Like, it was like, there was no learning curve, it was nothing. but like to him, he's like, well, I've been playing these songs for 15 years. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
That's incredible. That's
yeah,
really
it's incredible. You know, so he's a very, very talented young guy. He's going to go far with whatever he does, man, because he's a great songwriter. You know, he sings. I mean, the kid's very talented. He's 23 years old, man. You know,
nice.
so and he's part of our band now. So we got that extra energy kick. You
Yeah,
know,
that's great. That is great. Well, and
yeah, and
hearing those,
we're pretty excited, man. You know, to
yeah.
tell you the truth, we're pretty excited with everything's going on.
Yeah, you have a very tight band. I mean, yeah, that yeah, as you mentioned, Craig and Dylan are the two newest members, and
Mhm.
yeah, just lots of energy, a great solid, really solid rhythm section there for sure.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
makes it all the better, I think, with, it's just, and I think, those, anybody that's heard the album or anybody that's, when I'm telling everybody that's watching this, go get the album right now, because yeah, you will hear, I mean, just power. I mean, this album is just powerful. And yeah, it harkens back to old school Babylon AD, but it's also a very modern album, has a modern sound to it. It's yeah, just really richly textured and just fun as hell to listen to. Yeah, just and I love the fact that that the drummer is was a longtime childhood fan. I think it's always cool
Yeah,
when you hear those stories of a
that's crazy.
somebody joining a band that they love, and it's
Yeah,
that like Rockstar the movie, it's like, but in real life, it's like that's really cool. Well, I guess that was based on reality too, but yeah, it's cool to hear that. Like yeah, just yeah, I've seen a few bands out there now that have like some younger members that like grew up listening to the music and like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, where did you find the two new members? How did they get in
well,
contact with you?
uh, actually, Ron started playing with them, just jamming with them,
Oh, okay.
goofing around, and just he called me up. And he said, "Man, I tell you what, I got the guys. You know, right when we put the live album out, we knew that we were like, shoot, man, we got to get a bass player and drummer because we had the material that we were writing already, but we just needed two guys to fill the shoes." And Ron had already been jamming with these guys, so he was like, he was trying to convince me and John, I got the guys. There's no looking. Don't worry. So, like I said, when we auditioned them, me and John looked at each other and went, "Yep, these are the guys." You know,
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that is great. Um, Speaking of live, uh, I know you guys have got some shows coming up here pretty soon. You
Mhm.
got a tour, kind of a West Coast tour, and then also kind of in the middle of that, I think you've got a big show, a festival show, right in the South, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
what do you guys have coming up?
Uh, so I think we started in Fresno in California. Then we're in Denver, Salt Lake City. Then we do the mountain show, the one in
Yeah.
Gatlinburg that they have every year. Then we do I think a casino show, and then we do Sacramento. Uh, and we've got a couple other shows that are just coming in right now. That
Hmm.
the last couple days, we're going to play a theater out in Tracy. We got another show at a place in Concord called Benny's. It's going to be promoted by the Bone out here. It's like a big radio station out here. It's going to be Bone Night Out for Halloween.
Oh,
So,
cool.
uh, we're basically playing just about almost every single weekend for the next 3 or 4 months.
Nice.
But uh, at the same time, we're trying to. It's hard to do the gigs and write at the same time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So at the same time, we don't really want to get out there. We do and we don't. It's a mixture, man. We want to play a lot, but at the same time, we're excited. We're already excited about the writing for the next album. As
Nice.
far as demos, we were talking about it yesterday at practice. We were like, shit, man, we got to start these demos up, even though we got 5 or 6 of them in the can. You know, so yeah, man, it's really cool to keep the momentum going of something always happening. And we've
Yeah.
also got we shot the video and did the video for Wrecking Machine. That was our first single, and that did
Right.
really well. It ended up at number 3 on the radio charts for a while. And then we did Rome Wasn't Built in a Day about a month ago, along with the release and everything. And then we just did a video for Sometimes Love Is Hell. That's going to be our
Oh,
third single. Yeah,
nice.
yeah. And then we're already working on a fourth single video called the song called Face of God that's on the album.
Oh, very
Oh,
cool.
yeah, I think I think we're going to do videos for a couple more songs I mean, the
Nice.
album for us, and from what we hear from people like yourself, has, you know, a lot of good songs on there. So,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of bands, they put out a single and boom, that's it. You know, 3 weeks later, 2 months later, everybody forgets that the band had a single and or whatever. Hey, that was really cool. That band put out, my favorite band put out a single and a video, and then that's it. You
Yeah.
know, but for us, I mean, for me, especially being the songwriter, it's like every single song that I write, I have a vision in my mind what I want it to be shown. You know, uh,
Kind of
for
the
a
vision.
video. You know, I
Right.
see songs as like mini movies. You know, so
Cool.
every song I write, man, I already have a video in my head. It's just a matter of shooting it and getting the right parts to go with it. You
Okay.
know, so I think we're probably 5, 6 songs deep on this one with singles and videos, you know,
Very cool.
and then we'll be into the next one. You know, we're just gonna
That's great.
keep the ball rolling.
Oh, that's really cool. I love that. And it's cool, especially because it's, you know, it's so different from, you know, those early days, you know, especially the first album, because, you know, it was basically, you know, the record companies dictated what was going
Yeah,
to be released, what the videos were going to be, all of that. And now it's cool that, like, you know, as an independent band, I mean, you have a record company, but, you know, you can do what you want. And yeah, like you said, you know, the visual representation of those songs that you already kind of have in your head, it's great,
yeah,
you know, as an artist. I mean, that's what, I mean, that's the dream, right? That's what you want, is to be able to have that kind of control, I think, you know, and
yeah,
it's cool to
absolutely.
hear. As a fan, I love hearing that.
Yeah,
Because I, you know, like I said, I know, like, you know, back in the day, those record companies were monsters. So, I mean, I mean, they
yeah,
did a lot of good things, but they did some bad
yeah.
things.
It was a catch-22 situation. They had the
Yeah.
money, but it was like a monkey on your back at the same time. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's the cool thing too. I love the fact that, you know, you've got all these, you know, all these ideas for singles. And that's the thing, you know, with your music too, is, I mean, there's never any filler. It's like every song could be a single. I mean, you know, and you know, I'd say, you know, from the first album, second, you know, like every album you guys have put out, everything's just solid. I mean, they're just heavy rocking albums, you know, and just great songs, really well written, really well orchestrated, really well executed. That's what I've always loved about you guys is, um, you know, I mean, obviously there were the big hits, but at the same time, it's like, you know, every song on, you know, Marianne and all those, I mean, everything was
Yeah,
just
we still play Marianne. I think we played Marianne at every show we've ever
really
played,
nice.
ever. And I think it's because it has that ripping lead, harmony lead.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
fast. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like, and we've thought about dumping it before and putting something else, and we always look at each other and go, no, we need, you know, it's so cool when those guys do that harmony melody lead.
Yeah,
It's just burning, man. And it's a great, people love that song. That song could have been a single, you know,
easily,
off the
easily.
album. You know?
Yeah, yeah, easily. That might be, well, I hate to like categorize, but that might be my favorite song from the first album, actually, in a lot of ways.
Oh,
Even though I love the hits, you know, I love all, you know, the three big hits from that album, but
that
every
tells you right there. It was a great song. They could have went with that one, you know, and
easily,
yeah,
you know, but and you know, and those, you know, I don't know if you had much involvement with the, you know, then with the video, with the imagery and the videos, but I mean, those were just strikingly entertaining videos for one. You know,
yeah,
especially well, you know, all three of them were great. I mean, you know, with the, you know, with RoboCop and you know, it was just so
yeah,
entertaining, so fun to
yeah.
watch.
We tried our best, man, to get as much influence as we can. Really funny story. The first video that we did, Hammer Swings Down, you know, we'd never did a video before, you know. So we're on this big gigantic movie set, you know, at the Sepulveda Dam with all these, you know, cameras and, you know, up booms, and just, it was outrageous. I mean, it was a movie set, you know.
Wow.
But the day before, the record company wanted to make sure that we, you know, that we did some choreography and that we're really energetic and all this shit, right? And we're like, what are they talking about, right? So they set us up in this high school gym with this lady who's a choreographer. And she made us run up and down the gym, like working out and jumping jacks and shit like that.
Oh,
You know?
wow.
And then she started trying to tell us, okay, now on this part of the song, I want you to turn and twist and do and all this kind of shit, right?
Oh
And we
man.
were all looking at you like, what the hell, man? This is great. This is how they do it. We didn't know. We're being told by this choreographer lady, that you got to do this and you got to do that. Now I want you guys all jump down on your knees and go like this. We're like, no way, man, no freaking way.
Yeah.
So the funniest thing is when we get to the shoot, and we did the shoot over 2 days, we didn't do none of those moves. I did a couple of the spins. I think a little corny, because she was right there, like watching, like. So I did a couple of the spins, but some of the stuff, no, we were not going to do no matter what. But then at the same time, I start seeing these other bands who have probably the same choreographer lady, because she was in the music business industry as like the well-known chick. I see other bands doing what she wanted us to do. And they were doing it, jumping down on their knees and going like this and shit. Oh man,
Oh, that's funny.
This was crazy back then, man. They didn't want to control everything, man. But it was like, no, I'm not going to do that. In another video, they had us in a pinball machine getting hit by pinballs, and we're running and dinging our head on 500.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that. It's like, no, not going to do that. That was for Dangle the Bells. We're like, no, there's absolutely no way we're going to get inside of a pinball machine and get hit by flippers and shit like that.
Yeah.
6 months later, I seen the video. Another band. They were in that thing getting hit by flippers and silver balls and shit like that. So they said, yeah, okay, we'll do it.
I remember that. I can't remember what band that was. I do remember that video now that you mention it.
I think it was Baton Rouge, if I remember.
I think, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's funny.
But I seen that video and I started cracking up going, oh my God, man, you guys fell for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved your video. It was great. It's been a while since I've seen Blades. It's the Blades of Doom, right?
Blade of Doom.
Blade of Doom. Yeah, the game show.
That was another thing. So they give us this treatment, and it had nothing to do with Blade of Doom. All it was we were on a storyboard type of thing like that, a game show, and that was it. And there's 2 hot contestants and some guys going, hey, you win this, you win that, a toaster or whatever, this kind of stuff. And we're up on stage playing. And I'm like, this is the video? And they're like, yeah, this is going to be great and everything. I said, no, man, we can't do this. This is cornball, man. This is like just watching Vanna White and Wheel of Fortune or something. No, we can't do that. And so the record company's like, well, we really like this treatment, blah, blah, blah. What would you do different? I go, the only way, man, we're going to do this is if you at least make it like maybe futuristic or something. Like this is in the future. Like you win a nuclear warhead, that kind of thing. Make the people look like maybe the apocalyptic bomb hit a few years ago, and something like that. Make the blades, and they're like, oh, like Blade of Doom. Like, exactly. Let's call it Blade of Doom. So I mean, it was a lot of work twisting the record company's arm, because even back then I had that ideas of what I wanted the videos to look like. I really didn't know how to make a video back then. I just could see it in my head, Yeah. So making videos is fun. It's great, but I like making them now because I have 100% total control.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, then it's
I have to argue with nobody but myself.
Right. Yeah, it's your vision rather than somebody else's. But I think you guys did a good job, with that video with the Blade of Doom with. Yeah, because it did have kind of like a Running Man kind of vibe to it, and that
was the only thing that saved that video. If you would have seen the Blade treatment, you would have went, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, because it was a very entertaining and funny video, and that's speaking of funny, and I want to get back to the newer stuff, but I got to ask you. I've always been curious about this, and I think you've talked about it in interviews in the past. My memory sucks, but Sam Kinison worked with you guys on The Kid Goes Wild. So did you know him already? Did the record company set that up? Was he a friend of you guys, with you guys, or how did that happen?
No, what happened was we were in the same recording studio. I think it might have been, I'm just going to throw it out there, the Grinder maybe. Mm-hmm. There was 3 studios at this place where we were doing the record. Robert Palmer had one studio, Sam Kinison had one, and then we had one.
Wow.
We see each other in the halls all the time or whatever. So after a while, we started partying together and things like that. It just happens, because when you're making a record back in those days, it took a couple months. It wasn't like, it wasn't like a week or something like that, or everybody's got their computers out making a record, you
Yeah.
know. It was, real takes and stuff. There was no cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. I mean, you got to play a whole song pretty perfect, you know what I mean, to get it going. Anyways, yeah, so I started talking to Sam quite a bit and partying with him a little bit and hanging out. He's a night owl. He wouldn't even show up till about 8 o'clock at night and probably get finished about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Jeez.
And he came over to my studio and he said, "Hey, Dirk," he goes, I need you to do some backup vocals for me. I'm going to do the Rolling Stones, Under My Thumb. Can you do it? And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." He said, "Just be over there about 12 o'clock. I said, "Okay." So I went to the studio and I sang some backups with some other singers. I can't remember exactly who it was, but we sang the background vocals on about 2 or 3 songs, you know. And then I told him, I said, "Okay, well, I got a song called Kid Goes Wild, and it'd be really cool to get you in a breakdown, man, like just screaming some shit, this and that." And he goes, "Well, I'd have to hear it first." I said, "Okay." He said, I'll come over about 3 o'clock. I said, "All right." So I wrote up a script, what I thought it was going to be, you know what I mean? And then I gave it to him, and then he listened to the song and reads the script, and he probably took about one line from that script. And he did it in 2 takes. Wow. He just got to the studio and he just, "You fucking cops, you never take me alive." He just started going off, just being Sam. And by the second tape, it's like, "That's it. Let's go back to his studio and do some more partying." And that's how it came about. And then it's funny because we'd see him on the road. Somehow our tour would end up in the same towns a lot of times. And he'd be playing somewhere else at some comedy club, and we'd be playing at some rock club. And, he'd come 2 or 3 times. He came and he jumped on stage and did his bit or sang with us or whatever. So yeah, it was really cool, man. It was sad. We weren't really good friends. I can't say that, but the time I spent with him was pretty memorable,
Yeah. That was a tragedy when he passed. That really sucked.
Yeah, was crazy.
He was ahead of his time. He was very entertaining. And I always loved that part of the song, and I wondered how that happened.
I burnt the candle at both ends. I know a lot of rock and roll dudes that party. He could out party anybody. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've heard some stories. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, you've seen it firsthand. I would imagine. Yeah,
I see some shit I can't repeat.
I bet. Yeah, that was cool. Do you guys ever, when you play it live, do you ever like, play his recording, or do you just
we don't
go through the song now?
No, I just pretend like I'm Sam.
Oh, okay. Oh, you do it. Okay, cool. Nice. Oh, that's great. Very cool. Yeah, it was. I always thought it was too bad. Obviously with the language from that piece, it was too bad it wasn't in the video.
Yeah, that was another thing that shocked us. See, that's another thing that record companies have over you, right? We didn't even know. We had no clue till we seen the video, and it was already done. We're like, "What?"
Oh yeah,
believe it. They took out Sam. Well, we can't have that cussing in there, but like, we'll just beep his F word out, man.
Yeah.
And so all it was dun 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 dun. What I mean? It was like, this is lame. Cut that part out then.
Yeah.
So
you're missing
there's some things that you look back on and you're just, and you just wish it could have been done a different way, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. But that was great. That was very cool.
Are you there or are you frozen?
Yeah, I think we're both oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Froze up there. Yeah, you froze on my end too. I don't know what happened there. That was weird.
You froze on my end. That was weird.
Yeah.
You kind of look like Joe Biden for a minute there.
Really?
Is he awake?
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah, sorry about that. Internet connections, who knows? I don't know. That was weird. Yeah, technology. Yay. Cool. Yeah, that's fascinating. I love the Sam kind of stuff. So tell me a little bit about so you've done a few solo albums, and kind of a little bit of a change of pace for you, in terms of, it's more bluesy, like, not kind of, but like you definitely go down the blues path, I think Revolt was your first solo album, right? I think that was what, 2015 or so?
That was basically like a pretty much close to a Babylon A.D album. A lot of the songs were like a Babylon AD type of thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then I did the blues and I did the soul stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just write songs, man, and whatever happens, happens. And if I get enough of them, then I put them in a box, and I say, oh, there's enough of these songs to make an album like this, oh, there's
Okay.
enough of these ones. It probably took me maybe 4 years to write the blues album because I don't consciously start writing. If I have the slide guitar in my hand, I'm going to probably write a blues song. Same thing if I have certain guitars that maybe I pick up and I'm listening to some Bobby Womack or something. I'm like, I can write a song like that. And you pull up the soul stuff, and after I get enough of those,
Nice.
and I've done quite a few singles that are like acoustic things or classical kind of things. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So I just write songs, man. It just whatever happens, happens. And sometimes they're in the Babylon AD box. Sometimes they're in the Derek Davis box,
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because I was curious, like if there's ever, yeah, trying to decide, like, you know, especially if you've just got a lick or a lyric, like, okay, where am I going to go with this? Which direction am I going to go with this?
Yeah.
And
I don't think about that until maybe I have some of the lyrical ideas and I just know the riff. Nah, this is not going to fit Babylon AD, but this is really cool. This is going to be something for me. So I'm not going to stop just because even if I was thinking about, well, we got to do another Babylon AD album and I got to write some Babylon AD songs. I don't really think like that. But even if I was, it'd be like, oh, I'm not going to just throw that idea away just because it's not going that way. You
right.
know, uh, I'm writing some songs with Dan De La Rosa, the other lead guitar player that was in Babylon for quite a few years, and
Oh,
we've got
nice.
some really cool songs. Yeah, really cool stuff. And but I'm writing all the lyrics and melodies, and Dan's writing all the music, and he's
Okay.
writing in a different kind of style. Actually, it doesn't sound like Babylon AD at all. It kind of sounds like Stone Temple Pilots meet Nirvana at the Beatles' house or something. It's the only way I can describe it.
Interesting.
I'm even kind of sounding like a Robin Zander-ish kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
We're just trying something different, like stepping out of our box, and
Okay.
kind of go where the music takes you. Well, it doesn't sound like Babylon AD, but man, this is cool shit. That kind of thing.
Oh, that's really cool. Do you intend to release an album together then?
Yeah, we're working. Yeah, we've got 5 songs in the can right now.
Oh,
And
great.
if it wasn't for a Babylon AD being so busy, that probably be getting ready to put out because I've been working on it for about a year with them, almost a year with them.
Oh, nice.
So it's just time, man. I mean, I'm writing my own stuff. I write with Babylon AD. I got to record. I got to produce. I got to do the videos. It's just time, man.
Yeah.
I need more time for a day.
Yeah, you're a
I need like
busy,
about
busy
14
guy.
hours every day, man,
All
for all
right.
the ideas I got in my head.
Yeah, that's
Tell my
cool. I
wife that
mean,
all the time. She's like, "What are you talking about? This? I don't have no time. What do you mean you don't have no time?" I'm like, for the ideas that are in my head, no. It's like I'm running as fast as I can to catch up with them. You know,
yeah. I guess it's a good problem to have. It's better than being
yeah, it
completely
is. But
dry,
at the
but
same time, like I said, I need more time.
yeah. Yeah. Does the project that you're doing with Dan, do you guys have a name yet at this point? A name for the
No,
project?
oh well, we're just gonna do. I think it's just gonna be called De La Rosa and Davis, something
Oh,
like that.
nice.
Yeah,
Very cool.
but it's
Very
really
cool.
cool, man. You dig it. Everyone that
Yeah.
we played the demo stuff for is like, wow, this shit rocks. This is cool. This is
Nice.
different. You get that kind of thing.
No,
And
I
we're
can't
like,
wait to
yeah,
hear it.
wait till we record it for real instead of just like a drum machine and not me singing and that kind of thing.
Nice. Very cool. Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear that. That's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
it's really cool. It's really melodic and poppy. That's the only way I can describe it. You know.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I dig that. That's a cool idea. Um, so let's change gears a little bit and take a ride in the Wayback Machine. Tell me, I'm really curious about your start in music. Kind of how did you come from a musical family? Like what started this whole crazy voyage for you?
Uh, I think what really started it was I asked for my mom for a recorder, and I don't know why, but she gave me a recorder, a reel-to-reel recorder, like about that big. I can't remember the name of it right now. I think it was a GE, but it was a reel-to-reel recorder where you press a button, record, rewind, fast forward, stop, and it had a little mic attached to it. So I started making rhymes. You know, I swear to God, man, I think I was rapping before rappers.
Cool.
I've got some raps that like I play people like when I was 8 years old, 9, 10 years old. I was rapping. And this is like, 45 years ago or something.
Wow.
But and then I started playing drums. I really liked the Monkees. My Nana, my grandmother watched the Monkees. She liked the Monkees. So I'd watch the Monkees at night with her,
Cool.
And I wanted to be Mickey Dolenz, man. I just wanted to be Mickey Dolenz, and I wanted to play the drums, and I would go to sleep with the radio by my head, and I'd envision me up on stage playing the drums, like, it was already in my head, like, I'm going to be a drummer. I'm going to be on a stage. My stages in my mind were the school, though, like the junior high school,
Right. Yeah.
Elementary school, when I'm playing for the kids and they're all going like this. That was my imagination anyways. So that's how it started. And then I started playing guitar about maybe 14 years old. And then right off the bat, man, I knew you had to write. I read all kinds of biographies, the Beatles and the Stones and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith. Oh, wow, to make money and to make it in the music business, you got to be a singer, you got to be a songwriter, you got to be a guitar player. So the drums were out because I had to be the guy, and I happen to have a lot of ADHD going on at the time. So, basically just took it from there, man. And by the time I was in high school, I was fronting all the bands. We were playing everywhere, all the backyard parties and everything like that. And, you run across Metallica playing in a backyard over here or.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. And we were doing the same exact thing. We were playing basically backyard parties or starting to get into some bars and some clubs, and we were all underage, but it didn't matter, because it was just a cool scene in the Bay Area at the time.
Nice.
And just kind of snowballed from there. I started getting better and better bands and putting together better stuff, writing better. I was always recording. I took that one little recorder that I had. I went to a 4-track, when the 4-tracks came out, the little cassette reels, when the 4-tracks came out, I started recording on those. Then I went to the 8-track, then 16-track, and 24-track, and a 1-inch tape, 2-inch. I mean, I just went through the whole thing. And I went to roll, the rolling stuff, and it just evolved, and but I think if it wasn't my mom giving me that little recorder when I was like 8 years old and watching the Monkees, I don't think it would ever happen.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. It's not something you would think like, when you listen to a Babylon AD album, you wouldn't think like, oh yeah, this guy was the Monkees. That's what inspired him.
Yeah, no. And then, of course, when I think about when I was 9 years old, I was already collecting albums, man. I had like the Stones and the Beatles albums, Let It Be and stuff like that, and Simon and Garfunkel. And I would just started collecting albums like when I was 9 years old, man. The funny thing is, I still have them all. Still have them, man. They look old and kind of screwed up, but they still play. The old Kiss albums, man. I got albums that are 40 years old, 50 years old, probably.
Nice. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it started, man. It's just my whole life has just been, I've been blessed, that God gave me the gift to at least create music. And sometimes I get lucky and I'm able to say something that touches somebody, and that kind of makes it special for me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. You've always had, my experience with Babylon AD and your solo work is you've always had this really commanding, really powerful voice. Do you remember, and maybe, I don't know if you do, but do you remember the instance, the time, as a kid, high school, whatever age it was, when you like belted it out and went, holy shit, like I can do this?
I don't know if I remember the moment, but I do remember practicing like crazy when I was about 15, 16 years old. I built a little rehearsal studio in a garage that was off of my grandmother's house, and all my friends would come over there, and I'd be trying to sing Sammy Hagar and Steven Tyler, headed down a one-way street, down on the other way. I thought, man, if I could get that Steven Tyler, man, I'm gonna do it. Back in the saddle again, man. I must have screamed that thing back. I tried that probably a year, man. Every day I get in there, I'd listen to that album. I'm back. you know, trying
Nice.
to get it. And I figured if I ever got that, man, I'll be able to be a good singer. So yeah, just practice the hell up. You know, I don't do that much practicing anymore, but man, that's all I used to do is just try to sing like Steven Tyler, Ronnie Montrose. I mean, I'm sorry, Sammy Hagar. Um, you know, I like John Waite, Rod Stewart. You know,
Oh yeah.
as I got older, a little bit older, I started listening to Marvin Gaye and Al Green and James Brown and
Cool.
Bobby Womack. You know, and just trying to put that together in a rock voice. You know,
Yeah.
if it could happen for me. You know, so I just kind of took everything that I liked and threw it all together. You know,
And it works. Man, does it work. So
thanks.
yeah, it really works. That is cool. Um, well, Derek, this has been awesome talking to you. I don't want to keep you all night, but I do have one last question for you.
Sure.
So my page is Brews and Tunes. I pair craft beer with metal and hard rock albums mostly. And I think you're a beer drinker, if I remember correctly. Um, so I'm going to put you on the spot. So, as I said, I pair albums, I pair beers. So, if you were to do a pairing tonight, say, what album would you spin and what beer would you be drinking?
Mm. Oh, that's a tough one, man. uh, I don't know. I'd probably put on House of the Holy by Led Zeppelin, and I'd have probably a Corona,
All right.
and I
Nice.
just listen to that and go into that land of when I was about 15 years old when I spun that album, probably every single day for a whole year.
Yeah. Nice.
I drank
Perfect.
my Corona when I was about 16 years old,
Yeah.
every day after high school, man.
Yeah. Sipping on those, yeah, cold beer and spinning some Zeppelin. That sounds like the perfect evening to me, for
Yeah.
sure. So,
I,
or
now I want to go do it right now.
yeah, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, yeah. Or
Thinking
me, it
about
would
it.
be like a nice like what I'm drinking right now is a pale ale and I'd yeah, either put this on uh
Awesome.
or the new album for
Mm,
sure, or
yeah.
probably both, one after the other. So anyway, Derek, again, this has been absolutely fantastic talking to you. For those of you watching, if you look in the description below, I've got links to Babylon AD. If you don't have the new album, Rome was built in a day. Go get it right now. It is killer. Kick-ass album. Kick-ass album. And yeah, as I said, there's a link right here. So click on that link and pick up that album. You will not be sorry. Derek, thank you so very much. This has been
Yeah,
an
thanks for
absolute
having me,
pleasure
man.
chatting with you.
I appreciate the questions. I like it when I get questions that are a little bit different than a lot of other people ask. You know, at least I get to say something I haven't said before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm a fan, so I try not to gush too much, but I probably did. But I
We'll see you in Salt Lake City then, huh?
yes, I will see you in Salt Lake City.